Hello and welcome to the Farewell Callyanne and Audrienne Caron-Coudreau show. I am Ben Weinrib.
And I'm Allison Mast.
It's been a minute since we've seen you guys, but as always, we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to start off with our NIT-bound Commodore basketball team before moving on to the baseball team, which just opened up SEC play, and then have the return of our favorite segment to the whiteboard, the return of our other favorite segment, Odds Makers, before finishing up with the always favorite Commodore Roundup. Now, basketball season ended up right before we reached the postseason, ended kind of sadly with another heartbreaking loss to UT. But we're still NIT bound, no home game, but we're headed out to California to play the St. Mary Gales and what should be a pretty interesting game. But is there anything in particular you're looking forward to in this game?
I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to watch a little more Commodore basketball. I was watching the NIT selection show, which apparently exists. I was not formally aware of that.
Did you know there's also NIT bracketology? Ooh. Someone spends a lot of time working on that.
You?
But not even me. I focus on the CBI bracketology, the next tournament down.
Okay. But, you know, it was kind of a stressful show to watch because they introduced Alabama early as a member of the tournament. And, of course, we beat them. And then we were in the last quadrant to be announced, so I was getting a little nervous there, but I'm glad we had this opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing for me I'm excited about is I'm not really too worried about how well they end up doing, but this is a great chance for them to build on what's been a surprisingly great season and sort of build till next year when they're hopefully going to make a different postseason tournament. But this is another chance to play another tough competition and really grow as players together.
Exactly, and great experience for the young players especially, and they have one more opportunity to play with those guys who are graduating.
At least one more.
At least one more.
And if for some reason South Dakota State, go Jackrabbits, end up taking out Colorado State, we'll be able to host a game actually before they head off to the semifinals at MSG. So really got to root for that South Dakota State. I know we have that South Dakota State pride in our students' body.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Well, you talked about this being a young team. We saw them really be exposed as a young team against UT, blowing two different 10-point leads. I don't think I've ever seen a 12-point lead disappear so fast as we did when Tennessee hit those back-to-back three-pointers, and it felt like at all sorts of times in that game, even when we were winning, that you sort of knew this team was going to blow it down towards the end.
Yeah, what was really disappointing to me is that they kind of just, in addition to going cold, I mean, sometimes you just hit those tough streaks, but I just didn't see them handling the ball. There was a lot of turnovers there, and maybe you would have liked to see Carter Joseph come in at that point. And also Luke Cornett started shooting. And I don't know if he's the person, you know, sometimes he's amazing, but I don't know if he's the person you want in that situation, taking all of your shots.
Right. Well, it should be an interesting run. We'll be on ESPN2, The Deuce, and actually at 8 o'clock tonight. So get excited for that. So moving on from here, baseball team had an exciting weekend to start SEC play, sweeping the Arkansas Razorbacks. There's too many colleges going on in this show.
Yeah, too many.
No game on Friday, got rained out, but two exciting wins on Saturday. We saw a comeback win, or an extra inning win in the first one. Red hit the walk-off double. And then the second game, we saw a great performance from Walker Buehler. Before moving on, Jordan Sheffield with another excellent start. His second scoreless outing of the week. Looks like we finally got a Sunday starter here.
Yeah, you know, I was wondering how they were going to handle this because as on the second game on Saturday, Kilichowski came in relief. And so I assumed that he would make that Sunday start. And then when he came in, I thought, oh, maybe Pfeiffer, you know, and lefty for a lefty. But Sheffield really filled that role nicely.
Yeah. So he had 13 innings over the entire week, didn't give up a single run, which earned him a Pitcher of the Week honor from, you know, some newspaper out there. It was another guy who got big honors was Rhett Wiseman, 10 for 19, with about 6 or 7 extra base hits, and just an absolutely he wrecked everything that weekend. So much so that they walked him to reach Dansby Swanson, who ended up getting the walk-off single in the 9th inning of the last game, when Vanderbilt was actually being no-hit for almost the entire game. So that was a really exciting thing to see because Trey Killian is an excellent starter for Arkansas, possibly the best guy we've seen this year so far.
Yeah, it's promising to see them win in those situations over the weekend. One game that was a ton of offense, but went into extra innings, then blowing them out in the second game, and then coming back from being absolutely cold on Sunday and finding a way to win still in the bottom of the ninth.
Right. So one interesting thing is if Sheffield ends up securing this Sunday starter role is, especially with Hayden Stone out, the entire bullpen is basically lefty between Ben Bowden, Phil Pfeiffer, Kilichowski. After that, you're basically looking at Kyle Wright is the only righty out of the pen. So that's something to think about going forward until Hayden Stone gets back. But it's nice to have a wealth of arms. It's nothing to be too upset about.
Yeah, I don't think we're really caring at this point if they're righty or lefty, as long as they can get their jobs done.
Yeah. All right, well, now we'll send it over to Max at the whiteboard.
Thanks, guys. Let's keep that baseball talk going. The play of the week, even though it didn't end up in the Commodores' favor, is going to get diagrammed here on our To the Whiteboard segment. Ro Coleman was on third. He was the potential game-winning run in Game 1 of that Saturday doubleheader with the score tied 7-7 in the bottom of the 10th inning. Rhett Wiseman at the plate. Wiseman sent a foul ball down the right field line. It was caught right about here by Tyler Spoon of Arkansas, and there was going to be a play at the plate. Ro Coleman, fast runner, coming in hard. The play came in. The throw was good. As Rowe came in, he dodged the catcher, Carson Shaddy, who came way down the line to try and tag Rowe. That sent Rowe diving for home plate this way back towards the catcher's box. Rowe was not tagged here. He was unable to tag home plate. By the time he got up, he had already slid well past the plate, and the catcher Shaddy got up, tried to tag Rowe. Rowe deked him football style, came back here in the catcher's box, play still alive. Nobody knew what was going on at this point. Shaddy comes, tries and gets Rowe. Rowe makes a nice juke move around him, faked left, came back right. Just looking like a running back in football there was Ro Coleman. Made a last-ditch effort for the plate, and he absolutely had the catcher beat. But heads-up play by Shaddy to pitch the ball, to underhand the ball to pitcher Jacob Stone, who was waiting there to barely tag out Coleman. The play was wild enough already, but with that last throw back to the pitcher, we got a good old-fashioned 9-2-1 double play. Just saw the creativeness of Ro Coleman on the base paths, really able to make things happen. If he had gotten in there, which he almost did twice, that would have been the winning run. Vanderbilt ended up winning the game 2 innings later, but the play really blew up in the media. Lots of people were excited by that one. Ro Coleman not out of the baseline. We know this entire Commodore team can run the bases, but I don't think anybody else can juke out a catcher like Ro Coleman did there. So that's this week's segment of To the Whiteboard. Ro Coleman never stopped entertaining us. What a fun play, and as a bonus, Commodores go on to win a couple innings later. I'm Max Surs, To the Whiteboard. I'll be back in a second. Back to you guys at the desk.
All right, now behind the desk, we have Amanda Marco Tullio. How you doing, Amanda?
I'm doing well. It's been a while, but we're back, ready to go.
Yeah. So before we move on to the return of our favorite segment, Odds Makers, I thought this might be a good time to talk about the spring game, which is something that all of us should be very excited about. It's been a while since football season has been back, but we're going to get to see the offense go up against the defense in a strange scoring scrimmage, but we'll get to see this team for the first time really since November. It's we missed out on the bowl game, so this can be our little bowl game. I think we'll probably win. So that's the
I
good
think
news.
Vanderbilt will win in the end, yes.
Yeah.
No, I think everyone's excited about the spring game. There's been a lot of hype around campus. Coach Mason going around trying to get the students hyped up. Really want to see a good turnout and just get everyone excited for the upcoming football season. It should be a really great way to kind of get us excited for the fall.
Yeah, then we get to see a lot of young guys we haven't got to see yet. We've already seen 3 quarterbacks from the fall between Johnny McCrary, Patton Robinette, and Wade Freebeck. Now we get to see Sean Stankovic. So more quarterbacks from everyone. But there's a lot of young guys that we should probably be excited about. Darius Sims is making the permanent transition over to offense, so that's more touches for him. Hopefully get to see Trent Sherfield touch the ball a little bit. And just a lot of young guys out there for us.
Yeah, all around, it'll be a great thing to see. Like you said, kind of maybe give us some prospects for what we're going to see in the fall. So we're looking forward to it.
Equally exciting, at 11 a.m. this Saturday, there's going to be a giant sale of all sort of jerseys and equipment for Vanderbilt sports that's going to be priced to sell. So I personally am a huge fanatic of thrift shopping, and this is Vanderbilt thrift shopping, so I expect to see all of you there. All right, Max, how are we doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, Ben. And if there are any old Frank Cornett jerseys in that sale, I've already got dibs. So, Ben, don't even try. Those are all mine. This is Odds Makers, back for the first time in a while. As Ben said, it's our old favorite segment. Now it's our new favorite segment. We're going to be guessing some percentages, talking Vanderbilt basketball. It's been a while since we had our show, and since then there was a little incident involving Kevin Stallings and Wade Baldwin after the Commodores' win over Tennessee in Knoxville. And a Tennessee assistant coach told Stallings that Wade Baldwin was showing up, a Tennessee player, in the game's final seconds. Ben and Amanda will get into that a little bit more, but Stallings lashed out on Baldwin without having seen the play, and basically it was not a good decision by Kevin Stallings in all amounts, but of course he apologized. Him and Wade are certainly doing just fine. They're both strong personalities, get along well, and it produces a good mix. Kevin Stallings certainly remorseful for it. My question for you guys is, what percent chance, as we make some odds here, of what percent of this issue was really Kevin Stallings' fault?
All right, so obviously not a great situation here. As Max said, everything has sort of ended up fine. Wade had a great ending to the season. They ended up beating Ole Miss, so maybe it worked out there. But if I'm to assign the blame to each person, I think that Wade's not really responsible at all. Clapping after a game is pretty okay by me. I'd only give him 5%. I think that the assistant coach is really the most to blame here because it was a really, really dumb thing to be upset at. So I'll give him a 65%, which leaves Kevin Stallings, if I'm carrying my, at 35. 30% to blame.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I don't know, while Stallings' reaction, might have been a little appropriate at the time, I don't really think he's to blame for, exactly what happened or the rest of the season after that. I mean, we went to see them go on to play UT again in the SEC tournament. An upsetting loss, like we talked about before, but really they were fired up. I don't think there was any kind of leftover tension between Stallings and Wade. I'd probably give Stallings maybe 25% blame.
Those are two really close answers, guys. Not giving me a lot to choose from, but the consensus is this was just a slight misjudgment by Kevin Stallings. I agree with both of you, but since Ben attributed a very large percentage of the blame to the person who really is to blame, the Tennessee video coach, I'm going to give the point to Ben for this round in the first round of Odds Makers in this best of 3 tournament. Our next question, sticking with the Vandy men's hoops team, Damian Jones. What is the percent chance that he leads us in scoring again next year as he did this year with the emergence of all these three-point shooters, some additions to the roster both down low and on the perimeter? Percent chance that Damian Jones leads the Commodores in scoring again in the 2015-16 season?
I think Damian Jones will come back again hot next season. I'm looking forward to it, and will be one of our leading scorers. But I actually think I'll give him a 10% chance that he's one of our leading scorers.
Ooh,
yes, because I think Riley's really gonna. I mean, Riley came in as a freshman, so young, but stepped up so much. Really took this team, and just did so much, coming in with no experience. And now that he's got this under his belt, I think Riley's going to come back next season. I assume keep working on his shot. I know how much he really pays attention to detail there. I think he's going to come back and be even hotter with the threes. And I don't know. I think Riley will be our leading scorer next year.
Yeah, I have high hopes for Riley. I don't know if I'd put it that high, though. I'm going to put this one at 65% for Damian Jones. I don't think there's really much of a chance he leaves for the NBA. And with Siakam graduating, there's not many big men left. And we've seen him grow from year 1 to year 2. I think we'll see a little bit more growth from year 2 to year 3. But with not very many other options besides 2 incoming freshmen and the big man who doesn't really get up on the post, and Luke Cornett, I think we're going to see a lot of touches down low for Damian Jones.
I'd say give this one once again to Ben. 10%, Amanda, that's way too low. Damian Jones is going to be the best player on this team again next year. But, Ben, don't discount Samir Sahik and Jerry Baptiste. They're going to be big parts of the team next season. They're going to be fun to watch. Amanda, you're not out of it yet. This last question is worth 3 points. Winner gets all the marbles. Taking a look at the NCAA tourney, we talked about the Commodores in the NIT again this season starting tonight. What is the percent chance that the Commodores get back to the real thing to the NCAA tournament next season?
All right, so we saw 5 SEC teams make it this year: Kentucky, LSU, Arkansas, Georgia, and Ole Miss. Right now, Vanderbilt was the 7th seed, and was actually one of the more unlucky teams during the season. They really didn't have any close wins. They had a lot of close losses, though, and losses they blew that were really could be attributed to having young players. And now instead of having 7 out of 8 rotation players being freshmen and sophomores, those guys are going to be sophomores and juniors now. And I think this team is ready to take the next step. And I would put this one very high. I'm not going to put it at 100 because there's too much, area for someone to tear an ACL or something. But I'm putting this one at 92.73%.
All right. I'm going to put this one, I don't know, that's tough. You know what? I'm going to be bold and put it at 100%. I'm going to have more faith in them than Ben did. As you were saying, we've got all these players returning. We're going to have a great team next year, and we're coming off an exciting finish this season, although disappointing loss to UT. Really some close games against some big-name teams, as you were saying, close losses. I think they just needed a little time. Now we're coming back next season. I truly believe that we will make the tournament.
3-point question. All 3 of those points are going to Amanda. I love that 100% answer. This team is a tournament team next season, and you don't get anywhere if you're not confident, if you're not buying in, and Amanda is bought into this team right now. She's inside the head of Kevin Stallings. She sees where this team is going. 100% it is. Honestly, I would have said 105%, but confidence all throughout this program. It's going to be a fun team to watch this year. I believe they're going to the NCAA tournament next season. I think they're going to do big things in the NIT starting tonight. So Amanda gets to win in Oddsmakers. Big comeback victory. Highest scoring game in Oddsmakers history, too. Wow. Put that one down. 3-2 final. Amanda, good win. Take some time, celebrate, rub it in Ben's face a little.
Thank you, Max. All right.
I think there was some hustling going on there, trying to lose the first 2, make me not even put in half effort on the final question, thinking it was in the bag. I don't trust you.
We're all about the entertainment value here on Sports Wired.
No.
But now we have some exciting news. Someone we talked about actually in the fall, but we're talking about again in the spring, which doesn't always happen. Simone Charlie was placed 4th in the country in triple jump this weekend. So exciting for her. 43 meters, 2 1/4 centimeters. That's crazy. Thinking about that. Made first team All-American, and we saw her even last year. This wasn't even her best jump. So
Yeah.
and she was hot in soccer as well, which is really exciting.
Potentially our best athlete in the entire school, if you count how good she is in both sports combined.
I agree with that. Really impressive. Congrats to Simone. We love to see that back and forth. Hopefully we'll see her again in soccer next season with the new coach as well. Yeah. So in some other successful news, we have tennis with A.J. Austin breaking Bobby Reynolds' all-time wins record of 100. 99, 100? Somewhere up there. Very impressive.
Yeah, that's sort of crazy how close that record came to just being on a normal milestone. You would even think we could be celebrating 100 for just reaching 100. But he's now already owns the most career double wins with Ryan Lippman, which is at 36, 30 in one season. That's also a Vanderbilt record.
Yes.
That's pretty crazy stuff, too.
That is crazy.
Right now, the number 10 ranked singles players, best in the SEC.
Yeah, and the team's looking good as well. I mean, they're 17 right now. They have dropped the last 2 SEC tournaments, only 3-3 in the SEC. But I don't know, with the rate that they're going now, it's looking very hopeful, very promising for the future.
Yeah. And in other news, with the basketball team, there's actually new rules. So everyone knows Memorial Stadium has this weird setup where they've got the benches on the end of this elevated court. But now the coaching box is going to be moved back to the normal sidelines where they are on any other stadium. Although Stallings never really followed those rules anyways. He liked to wander his way onto the court. So I don't think much is going to change for him. It's just going to look very strange to see a coach just standing out in the middle of the sideline, away from all his players.
It will be strange. It's a little upsetting, actually. I kind of like the way we had it set up. I think it threw the other teams off when they came and played as the away team. Gave us a little bit of a home court advantage, maybe.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see, what happens with Memorial Magic once it switches up. So.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for us this week. For Max, for Allison, for Amanda, I'm Ben, and we will see you next week on the Farewell Kellyanne and Audrey-Anne Caron-Gaudreau Show.